But what is the thing that actually is?
You created this social construct stuff, so create your own social construct stuff.
That said that if that Hunter Biden laptop story
Have any arguments against that right now? And I want to see how it goes.
Like I said, I was really anti-Hillary at the time. I voted third party because I felt that I couldn't vote for Hillary, but I also couldn't find a compelling reason to vote for Trump either. And honestly, thinking that Trump wasn't going to win anyways, it felt really safe to vote third party. But at the time I was living in Arizona, and Arizona went to Trump by something like 2-3%. And that's about what third party candidates got as well. So that caused me to really look back and reevaluate the value of my vote at that time. And so since then, I've been pretty active supporter of the Democratic Party.
Okay, sounds good. So your girlfriend of how many years?
5 years.
5 years is black. Your father, you're from a red state. Your father has his own business, but it's not really a business that you see yourself doing for the rest of your life. So you got an engineering degree.
Right. Well, I was pursuing the engineering degree anyways.
Right.
But yeah, he had a job within the coal industry, and I just don't see much of a future there in general, but I also wanted to be part of the solution as opposed to the problem.
All right, so part of the solution. What's a woman?
I feel like we can talk about like females and males within the sexual context, but then in terms of gender, I mean, that really does come down to how people socially present themselves. There's a number of different like trans women that I would say look more feminine than a number of biological females I've met in life.
I didn't say what you feel is a woman, and I didn't say what looks like a woman. I said what is a woman.
I think that the category of woman is more or less a social construct that we've centered around the female features of biological females.
Was it a social construct when you were 15?
Trans people existed. We didn't talk about it.
No, I'm talking about
in that way.
to you. What was a woman when you was 15?
Biological woman.
A woman was your mother.
at
A
that
woman
time.
was your aunts. A woman was your teachers.
Sure, but trans
No.
women have.
No. I'm saying before you started being told what a social construct of a woman is, you had an idea of what a woman was.
Right,
And
but
that idea came from where? When you before you found out about the social construct of a woman, where did that idea come from?
The general traits that a woman would present themselves with.
So when you were a little boy, you thought that a female was only a female because they presented themselves as a female.
I mean, pretty much. I wasn't really checking to see what their genitalia were. right?
Not that you were checking, and none of us like, come on, let me see you. Oh yeah, you a girl.
Let me see it.
Nah, nobody did that.
Well, but that's kind of like where the conversation's centered around, right?
No, it's not actually. It really isn't. It really isn't. It's about training. It's about over the years being coerced to believe something different than you were raised to believe. It's something completely opposite of what God has taught us ever since we were born from him. What the Bible says, nobody will look in any type of Bible, any type of spiritual book that's from centuries ago and see anything about a social construct. So this right here is training. This right here is indoctrination. So when I ask you this question, I'm not trying to change your mind. You can think whatever you want to think. Reason why I tapped into when you were 15 years old is because social construct was not a thing then.
Well, I think it still was a social construct, right? Like if someone, let me put it this way. So in the past, say 50 or so years, we've developed a whole lot of technology that's allowed people to be able to present themselves more convincingly as one gender or another, right? There are trans men who look very masculine, and there are trans women who look incredibly feminine. Again, people who I would look at and say, you look more feminine than a number of biological females that I know, right? And so when I'm saying that back then it was still like a social construct, what I'm saying is that if 14, 15-year-old me had seen many trans women as they present themselves today, I would initially think that is a woman, right? Because of the way that they present themselves.
But if you're told by a man or if you're told by an actual woman, I know you're 14 and you think that's a woman, but they ain't no woman. That's a man presenting himself as a woman. And you'd be like, okay. And when you say okay, you're agreeing that there's a difference between someone presenting themselves as a woman and someone actually being a woman. Presentation could be any daggone thing. I'm talking about what actually is. That's why when I asked you, what is a woman? I didn't ask you what
But what is the thing that actually is to you? Because you said it wasn't genitalia. So what's the defining characteristic there?
Someone born as a female is a woman when they become an adult.
Okay, but again,
Someone
like,
born
if I
as a
can't really
boy,
tell the difference between them,
it's
like,
not about what you. Oh, but here's the thing: you can tell because you're extremely intelligent. You can tell. It's just you accepted the indoctrination. You accepted the new way of thinking. You accepted the social construct way of thinking, and because of your party affiliation that highly supports and pushes a certain agenda and narrative, you refuse to talk about what you know to be.
No, I'm here talking about it, and
No.
what I
Okay.
accepted is that I value people being able to live out their life as they desire, more
Me
so
too.
than upholding specific gender constructs that are based on the biological sex you're born with.
Okay, me too. I would tell you that. Me too. I am. I am. I love people just for being people. If you are a man and you are living in your womanness, your womanhood, your made up presentation of womanhood, and you want me to play along, then it's up to me to play along. But it does not settle the fact that you are what you are presenting yourself to be. It's me that's deciding to play along. And anyone else that decides to play along, I wouldn't fault them either. Like, I want everyone to be happy, but when it starts to become law and people are forced to address someone as something that they are not, it's now my choice to be able to buy into that. And if I don't buy into it, that don't make me a bad guy, and I shouldn't be canceled for it. But if you buy into it, that's your business.
Sure. So I don't necessarily know where I stand in terms of like what kind of ramifications should exist if you say to a transgender woman, you are a man, right? But I feel like so much of the conversation is just skipping over the humanity of the person who is identifying as trans, right? Like, these are people who, like, for example, with bathrooms, if you had a transgender woman forced to go into a man's bathroom, that is where they are more likely to experience assault than they are to ever assault someone if they were to use bathroom of the gender that they identify with. There's this like implicit association between trans people and being. I think that's kind of disgusting and is a distraction away from where we should be talking, which is how are we going to integrate these people that exist within society?
We shouldn't. We shouldn't. When it comes to bathrooms, there should be a trans bathroom.
Or
When
a
it comes
gender
to
neutral bathroom.
when
Yeah,
it
I
comes
think that's a fair compromise.
No, not neutral. Neutral is integration. Trans is trans bathroom. Like,
But who would
that's a
be
difference.
using a trans bathroom? I suppose.
But that would make more sense just to do a trans bathroom. Everyone, if you're trans, go in this bathroom rather than it being neutral. Because, okay, anybody who is different is going to be made fun of in some way, shape, or form by someone with the mentality of a child who just don't respect someone else's space. Let's put that there, okay? So if somebody come into my bathroom, and I consider myself mature, but if you are a woman and you come into the bathroom and you lift up your skirt and you stand beside me at a urinal, and then a big old ding-a-ling flips out of your skirt, then guess what? I'm gonna have something to say with my wife and be like,
Babe, a woman just now walked into well, I thought it was a woman, walked into the bathroom, stood by me at the urinal, and a ding-a-ling came out.
ain't that something?
That's a super uncomfortable position for them, right? And
I mean, for them, it's uncomfortable for me too. I mean, because you're only assuming
why we're trying to find
they should have a trans bathroom.
Sure.
Just like with sports.
To retrofit like every building with an additional bathroom. I mean,
well, here's the thing though, young man. Here's the thing. Have you looked at the rates of individuals who have become trans over the years, like the amount of people, and I get it. Some people will say, no, they always been there. They just haven't come out the closet. They were scared. They didn't say that they was trans, so you didn't think they was there. They was always there. Full sugar honey iced tea, bruh. That's what it is. It's a fad, and it's being fed across the nation as the next big thing to do, and it's accepted. And while it's being accepted, it's so many people that's doing it now that it's getting louder and louder and louder. So yeah, you need more retrofit. You need somebody to say, well, yo, rather us having a neutral bathroom, I think they need to have their own bathroom. Rather than men saying that they're women and playing in women's sports and beating the hell out of young women who have been working their lives off, busting their asses to be the best athletes in the world amongst other women. Now they got to compete against men, but they are taking all these medications. They are women now. They don't have the same blah, 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 blah. Just have trans sports. If you're trans, go up against other trans. If this is what the trans community want, they created this space, so create your own space. You created this social construct stuff, so create your own social construct stuff. Don't confuse everybody else. Just do you.
I think they're largely trying to do them.
They're not. They're trying to be a woman and compete against women, whooping their tails, and they are still men.
I think that trans individuals in sports is maybe a bit more nuanced of a conversation, right? Because this is where those physical differences that may still lie from their time as a biological man or woman, right? Where there's still significant residual effects from that. I think that...
You got any kids?
No, we don't have any kids.
I raised 4. My youngest is 18. My oldest is 26. If any of my kids, my boys, let's just say boys, when they were underage and a woman walks into the male bathroom, you don't think that will psychologically affect my boys?
Sure.
So why don't anybody care about that?
I think that we're trying to create different zones where these people can exist within society.
How does that tell my boys that the woman you saw walk into the bathroom belongs here and you should not feel some type of way when you see them?
I think that there's a conversation to be had about having an individual space for them to be.
Yes, like a trans bathroom.
Sure, something like that. But how are Republicans opposing trans bathroom bills, or are
no? I
them?
think no. I don't know what Republicans want. I don't speak for all Republicans.
I'm just saying, because this conversation is centered around like who we vote for and the values that we have. So if that's a space that you want to happen, I mean, we got to look at who's proposing those sort of things and where that funding is going to come from.
Well,
a lot of private companies don't have a ton of money to blow out a wall and add a trans bathroom.
The funding should come from the people who will benefit from it. If the trans community need a trans bathroom or need a trans sport, then the LGBTQAI plus community should pay for it.
They're a very large minority in society. We're talking about an absolute ton of individuals. And so if you want them to fund it, I mean, that's such insane taxation that you're suggesting on a small portion of the population. That's not how we handle anything else, right?
Okay, I have a question for you.
Disabled people don't pay for disability.
Disabled people, are you comparing disabled people with trans community?
I'm comparing the social or the monetary value of what we pay for one group of people and that cost for another group of people. So,
but it's not the same. So I mean,
I'm not saying they're the same thing.
I mean, I'm just saying, for the sake of argument, just comparing the two is not the same, in my opinion. But I mean, but for you, if that's how you look at it, then I can't tell you how to look at it.
Like I said, I'm just talking about, because you said that it should be paid for by the people that benefit from it, and that's just largely not how we handle the taxation for a lot of different things, specifically welfare, specifically money that comes from welfare in some sort. Right.
I'm not sure. I honestly, I don't understand the question.
Services, things like a road is generally benefited, or most people benefit from that public service, right? But there are specific things that we do to help groups of people, things like funding for HBCUs. That was paid for by everyone, not just the people who are benefiting from it, right? So it's like a weird exception to say that only LGBT people should pay for the addition of trans bathrooms, if this is also an incentive that you, a straight man, also want, right? Is to have a space specifically for people like that.
No, I don't want a space specifically for trans. I can care
Well, you
less
don't
about.
want them in the locker room, right?
No, I can care less if they're in the locker room. I can care less if they're in their own bathrooms. I just, if you are going to get loud and you want your own space, then create your own space. If there are individuals who feel like they are being, their children are in jeopardy or something like that because of the integration, then that's a bigger argument. I'm saying, as I'm proposing that to shut that argument up, the trans community should have their own bathrooms. And it seems like the people who are making the most noise are the trans community. So if the trans community are making the most noise, then they should take care of that, pay for it. And if they can't pay for it, then they should go to their local government and see if they can help them out with this so that we can have that happy medium, that we can fix the issue that we're dealing with at the moment.
So fix the issue by getting trans bathrooms and things,
Yes.
but handle it on the local level.
Yeah, absolutely. Most people don't, I mean, and honestly, especially from the areas where I'm from, most people don't vote locally anyway. I mean, they don't vote, they just vote for the big joints. They don't vote for any small government. They vote only big government. And then they never make sure that anybody's doing their job properly or any of that. So
I definitely agree that people
Yeah.
should, key into what their local politicians are doing.
all I'm saying is, and I hope I'm not disrespecting any community out there, because that's not my intent. What I'm basically saying is, from where I sit, from where I've been seeing, from the social media platforms that I lock into, and I try not to stay within my echo chamber or anything like that. People who are saying the same thing, like, yeah, here's another conservative point, put that out there and tell them this and tell them that. That's BS to me. I didn't get to this age and raise the children I raised by being in a bubble.
It really feels like a bubble, if I can be honest.
Oh,
When I was messaging, I think it was probably like a week or so ago, right? I'd love to watch like a video with you or something. I shared on the Discord the Gavin Newsom Sean Hannity interview. I thought that would be a really interesting something that we could watch together. It doesn't have to be today, but
hey, listen, I think that'll be amazing. And next time, hopefully, and I know you're probably not subscribed to me. If you are, thank you so much for your support. And hopefully you hit that notification bell so that next time I go live, pull up. Be one of the first people to pull up. I'm talking about within the first hour. We in hour 3 right now. And you're taking up everybody's daggone time. But brother, I want to say, listen, I don't give a damn how you vote. I want you and your future wife, if y'all decide to get married or anything like that, or whoever you're in love with, I want y'all to know that I love you and I am a man of God. I just want everybody to be okay. I can care less if everybody's happy. That's la la land. That's made up. That right there is just like the whole social construct thing. That's made up too. Happiness. What's the point of that?